Topic 2 today, I asked you to become a bracketologist. This will probably be as disastrous as it sounds. You had to do some math for this one. You had to make notes for this one. That's not exactly where you thrive. So we'll see how this goes. I probably did awful as well. This isn't just a you problem, but so here's the premise of this. We're going to do some way too early bracketology, some way too early seed lines. Caveat being, preface being, we are not bracketologists. We have no idea what we're doing. We're just two lovable or hateable idiots, depending on how you feel. So we are no Lucas Harkins. We are no Joe Lenardi. We are not good at this. So this is not real bracketology. This is sleepers bracketology. And the goal, the reason we're even embarking on this endeavor today is because I felt like a couple weeks ago we did the whole like, is this team going to make the tournament, like the hot take exercise? And I was like, Illinois is going to miss and other teams will be a bubble team. Ugh. I realized, Cart, until you actually make the list of teams, it's hard to know who's a bubble team and who's not. Like I'm going down the Big Ten, like, well, Michigan might be a bubble team. Illinois might. Michigan State might. Rutgers might. Ohio State. I don't know. Until I start actually plugging the teams in their spots, I don't know where I think these teams are actually going to fall. That's the purpose of this exercise. I asked Cart and myself to actually go through and rank teams from 1 to 11 seeds. So 4 1 seeds, 4 11 seeds, 4 everything else seeds. You may be saying to yourself, that's not 68 teams. You didn't go all the way to 16. We didn't do any of the small conferences. I don't care about who's going to get the automatic qualifiers. So this is just all the high major seeds, plus if Gonzaga's in it, if other WCC teams, if an A10 team, you get it. Just through the 11 seed line where high majors would be. And don't worry about play-ins. We're not doing the play-in game. We're not a pro play-in podcast. So we have 1 seeds through 11 seeds, and we're going to unveil where our teams are at. Do you have anything to say before we do this?
Oh, we also have a first 4 out, right?
We also have a first 4 out, yes.
Yep. Okay, I'm good to go.
Yes. Okay. 1 seeds. Who do you have?
My 1 seeds, I have Alabama, Kansas, Baylor, and UConn.
We're very close. I have Kansas, Alabama, UConn, and I put Gonzaga as the 4th 1 seed card.
Wow. So wait, did you say UConn made yours or it didn't?
UConn's in mine. Yeah. We have the same first 3. Kansas, Alabama, UConn. I went Gonzaga. You went Baylor. I went Gonzaga because I think that team is going to run through the WCC, probably go undefeated. And we've seen a lot of Gonzaga years where they end up on the 1 line with like 2 losses in the regular season.
Yeah. So I actually went back and forth between those 2 teams only because I think Baylor's Big 12 is going to hold a little bit more weight than the WCC. I put my Lenardi hat on that one.
Big 12 boost. Wow. Okay. I like this. I feel like this is going to get real messy and chaotic when we get to like the 8 line, but early we're going to be aligned. Who do you have on the 2 line?
On the 2 line, I have Houston, Iowa State, Gonzaga, Duke.
Okay. I have Houston, Iowa State, Duke, and Baylor. So our top 8 are the same.
Okay, that's good. I think. Right?
Are we bracketologists?
This is easy. Why does this guy take it too long? Golly.
For the record, Duke was my top 2 seed. You had them last. I had them top on
mine aren't in order from top seed.
Oh, great, lovely. To the 3 seed.
This is where I think we're gonna start getting a little goofy here. I have Arizona, Auburn, Tennessee, and Texas A&M.
I have Arizona. I have Auburn. I have Arkansas. I have Indiana.
Wow, Indiana.
I think Indiana's going to run away with the Big Ten. I really do. And I think Arkansas is a top 12 talented team in the country, getting that SEC boost the same way you said the Big 12 boost. You said who? Tennessee and Texas A&M?
Yeah.
I'm not that far off with Tennessee. I'm a little further off with Texas A&M. We'll see.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to die on the Aggie Island this season. I've committed.
You'll die on the Wade Taylor Island for sure. Neither one of us have North Carolina yet?
Nope, not yet.
Through the top 3 lines, neither one of us have North Carolina yet.
Not yet.
To the 4 line.
My 4 line, I have Purdue, Florida, UNC, Arkansas.
Okay, yeah, this is getting messier. Okay. This is the first line we only have 1 aligned on. I have North Carolina. I have Marquette. I have Creighton. And I have Tennessee, who you had on the 3 line. You have not gone to Marquette or Creighton yet, as far as I know. I have Marquette and Creighton.
I have not gone to them yet,
on
no.
the 4 line. Okay. Did you include them at all? Because you looked like you were looking at your list to make sure they were on there.
No, I knew they were on there, but I was seeing how far apart we were, and that might be one of the teams we're the farthest apart on.
Marquette
and Marquette and Creighton.
Interesting. Okay. All right. To the 5 line.
On the 5 line, I have Indiana, UCLA, Cincinnati, and Xavier.
No teams similar here. A lot of teams that are further down my list a lot. I have Purdue on the 5 line. I've been very pro Purdue. Purdue is dropping a couple seed lines for me with Cannon Catchings out, just straight up. I'm going to have to reevaluate. I still think they can make a Final Four run, but I don't think they're going to have a great regular season with the thin depth that they now have without Cannon Catchings on the wing. I have Purdue, Florida, Texas, and Texas A&M. Those were all teams I think you had already, other than Texas.
Yeah, I already had the one that probably is most different from yours is maybe UCLA.
Yes, I have UCLA, but not for a long while.
Do you have Cincinnati?
I have Cincinnati upcoming, but not yet.
Okay, all right. 6 line. I have Maryland, Kentucky, Texas, Michigan State.
Maryland, Kentucky, Texas. So I'm higher on Texas than you are.
Where'd you have Texas again?
Wow. I have let me check here. I have Texas on the 5 line.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have Michigan State on the 6 line?
I do. Yes.
Okay, so third best Big Ten team. Fourth
No.
best Big Ten, because you
Fourth.
have Maryland.
Yeah, fourth.
Okay, the first team from your list that is not even in my field through 11 seeds is the Maryland Terrapins. I have Maryland out of my field.
Out of the tournament. Wow. And I have them
I
at
do
6.
not see them as a tournament team, man. All the problems they had last year, I think, remain with Deshaun
Okay.
Smith here. My 6 line is Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Cincinnati, St. John's.
Woo.
The Johnnies.
The Giants. Okay. Those teams are on my list, just further down.
Okay. All right. So there's still nobody from my list that's not in your field.
Not yet, no.
Okay. To the 7 line.
7 line, I have Illinois, Creighton, Texas Tech, and BYU.
Okay. All right. I don't hate this at all. I don't. I went Kentucky, Louisville, Xavier, and Michigan State. I got you guys on the 7 line.
So you got Louisville at 7, huh?
Yeah.
All right. After all the discussion we had about Louisville.
Yeah, the more I think about it, somebody's got to come out of the ACC, and I think they have the 3rd best roster by a lot.
Okay.
And I'm also, when I made this, I was presuming they get Coleman Hawkins, so that's
Okay.
not great.
All right. 8 line. I have Marquette.
Wait, sorry, where'd you have Kentucky?
I have Kentucky on my 6 line.
Okay, so we're close, 6 and 7.
Yeah, Kentucky 6, and for those keeping track, Arkansas 4 line.
Yeah, I had Kentucky 7, Arkansas 3.
Okay, so very. On the 8 line, I had Marquette, Virginia, Miami, and Rutgers.
Okay, I'm proud of us right now. We're aligned. I have Rutgers and Virginia on the 8 line. I'm really I thought you were not going to have Virginia, and I was like, I believe Virginia. Look at us. I have Rutgers, Virginia, Michigan, and Wake Forest on my 8 line.
Got Michigan on the 8 line, huh?
I do have Michigan on the 8 line. I'm really curious if you're going to have Michigan at all. Did you have Wake Forest in your field?
I did not have Wake Forest in my field, no.
I think Hunter Sallis back is that important, and I'm talking myself into the ACC actually being decent this year.
Yeah, I went back and forth on them. They bounced on. They ended up out completely. They were on my original right through on the 11 line.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. This might be a little Michigan bias, obviously, but I really think that front court's going to be that good, man. Like I heard some stuff about how Danny Wolf's been playing this offseason and like workout shit, and people are like raving that this dude's the best player in the gym always. So I don't know if that's right or not, but I think the front court's going to be that legit. And I like that have him as 5th in the Big Ten. I actually think that's reasonable, behind Rutgers, behind Michigan State. I don't think it's that crazy.
Have you had Illinois yet?
I have not had Illinois yet. No.
Okay, so we're on the 9 line here.
We're on the 9 line. I got 3 lines left. Yep.
Okay. Providence, Louisville, Oregon, St. John's.
Providence.
I'm buying like Cardette. I'm buying Bryce Hopkins coming back from the injury. I'm buying Kim English.
Okay, I'm selling Providence. They're nowhere to be found, not even in my first 4 out. All the others are on my list somewhere. I have on the 9 line Clemson, Oregon, Seton Hall, and Illinois. This is where I have the Illini, which would put them sixth in the Big Ten, sixth or seventh, depending on where Oregon falls, because they're a 9-2. And I think they're safely in the tournament. So again, that's a flip from where I was a couple weeks ago when I had him out. I think Kasparis gave him a boost. If Jack Kashonis wasn't on this roster, I would probably have them out of the field. But yeah, honestly, doing this exercise was helpful because there aren't a lot of teams I really believe in past the first like 20 teams.
Yeah.
Brad Underwood's going to make the tournament. He's too good.
Can you say that one more time?
Clemson, Illinois, Oregon, Seton Hall.
So there's 2 teams in there that were out for me.
You don't have Clemson?
I do not have Clemson, and I do not have Seton Hall.
Yeah, I'm buying Shaheen still.
I think I should have Seton Hall in there. I have Clemson in my first 4 out. I didn't list Seton Hall. I should probably have them in.
Yeah, I think Shaheen's gonna have a bounce back. He got robbed not being in last year, and I like what he did in the portal.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of my 11 line picks. I could have definitely bumped them down for like a Seton Hall.
Okay, to the 10 line.
The 10 line, I have Kansas State, Mississippi State, Ohio State, and Ole Miss.
Dog, we're dialed in on some of these. I have Mississippi State, Ohio State, South Carolina, and UCLA here. So we kind of I had Ole Miss on the 6 line and UCLA on the 10 line, and you flip-flop those, right?
I have Ole Miss on the 10 line, and I
had
have UCLA was on my 5th.
Yeah, so I'm way higher on Ole Miss than you are. You're way higher on UCLA than I am, but pretty similar there. All right, to the 11 line, who you got?
The 11 line, I have Michigan, South Carolina, Memphis, and Loyola.
I feel good doing this exercise with you now. All right, so Michigan did make it, but it's close. My 11 line is New Mexico, BYU, Loyola, and Arizona State.
Wow, Ooh, I like that Arizona State pick.
I was looking at their roster and Jim Root's roster sheet, man. They have so much damn talent. Like,
they do.
That team should be good. They really
and
should.
just to give you an insight quickly here, Michigan was pretty easily like in my I didn't have them at 11. Like I actually had them in the original cross out version. I think 9.
Yeah.
And then I remembered a couple other teams and they got bumped down because of that, but they're safely in at my 11.
I think doing this exercise has made me feel stronger about my team. And I think by default your team and Illinois, all the Big Ten teams I felt a little iffy on, I feel a lot stronger about after getting through this exercise.
We might have to do this monthly.
It's kind of fun. Give me your first 4 out. So who's on the cut line for you?
My first 4 out were New Mexico, Clemson, Nebraska, and Northwestern.
So we're pretty dialed in here. I did not include Nebraska or Northwestern. I don't think either one of them will be close this year, sadly. My first 4 out, I have Maryland as the first team out. I have TCU. I have St. Mary's. And I have Kansas State out of the field.
Douglas misses it once again.
If they get Coleman, I would elevate them into the field and drop Arizona State.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's your bracketology in June. Don't say we aren't working, folks.